Los Angeles Rams at the Green Bay Packers. Right now, this thing is on both sides of the number, guys. So there is a book out there, namely DraftKings, that now has the Rams as a 1-point favorite in this game. They started out as 2.5-point underdogs. So we have seen a full flip here over at DraftKings. There are still Green Bay Packers in favor by 1 point at a couple of the other books out there. 47.5 to 48 your total in this one. Steven, this has just come out since all of us were here recording this, but Aaron Rodgers has laughed off the COVID toe situation. And because Aaron Rodgers revealed that he has a fractured toe instead. So he is saying he has a fractured toe right now. We know that he came out of that game last week complaining about his toe hurting and this, that, and the other. And so now we know, apparently, according to him, he has a fractured toe, which maybe is why this line flipped completely in the Rams' direction. We know the Rams are coming off of a bye. Another week to maybe get Odell Beckham more in tune with this offense and a little bit more acclimated with how things are going to work. Another week for them to get a little bit more healthy. I have no proof that Matthew Stafford has been hurt over the last couple of weeks, or is at least dealing with some sort of nagging something. But it sure looked to me like a dude that was throwing the ball a lot different the last few weeks than he was the first, several weeks of the season. So we shall see. That's, again, no proof of that, just kind of my own personal hypothesis. How do you look here at Rams and Packers?
I'm not as confident in either side here as our lead writer, Eli Hershkovich, is. He's got this as one of his best bets. So you can go read why at thelines.com right now, or you can find it in his Twitter feed at Eli Hershkovich. As for the Aaron Rodgers toe injury, it didn't happen in the game last week. It happened at some point before that because he was on the injury report going into that Vikings game with a toe injury. And it affected him so much he threw for 385 yards and 11.7 yards per attempt. So I don't think it's as big of a factor as he's talking about with the media. I think it's a terrible spot here for Green Bay with the other injuries that they have. They're down 3 offensive linemen. Aaron Jones did return to practice today. We'll see if he actually plays, but those injuries up front against a ferocious Rams defensive front is the bigger concern for me. And they're also missing or have players really banged up in key spots on the defensive side as well. So combine that with the Rams coming off of a bye. I generally think that this is a good spot for the Rams. I think the market corrected a mistake in having the Packers theoretically as a favorite on a neutral field against the Rams. I think most people in the market, I think most of us probably had the Rams slightly ahead of the Packers, but either way, we're talking about like less than a field goal here, right? I mean, this is a coin flip situation. So for me, it's just more about that offensive line for the Packers in a really tough spot here against a just elite front four for the Rams in terms of a pass rush.
So, Brad, we have, like I said, another week for Odell Beckham to kind of get acclimated in that offense. Another week for Von Miller also to get acclimated into that defense for the Rams. Full disclosure here, when this thing was at 2.5, I wasted no time. I got this thing into multiple teaser legs to get the Rams up to 8.5 in this game. I have these teams power ranked pretty much equally. So if I'm getting points with a team that I think is basically equal to the other, and then also if I could certainly take that team up through a 3 and up through a 7 and even up through an 8, I will do that all day, every single day in this one. So what do you see here from this Packers offense going up against this Rams defense? And then the other curious thing here is we know that Jalen Ramsey has not been shadowing much this season, but with a team that is so incredibly one-dimensional in the pass game in the Packers and Devontae Adams, I do wonder if we might see him kind of shake off the rust a little bit and try out and at least come out and try to shadow him. Maybe it doesn't work and they go back away from it or something. But I think that's at least another interesting angle maybe here in this one.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether he shadowed in the playoff game last year. That would be one to go and look at. I don't have that off the top of my head. Again, not a game I've bet yet. One way I'll potentially look is the under here. So obviously we saw the Rams struggle the last 2 games before their bye, and they got bullied up front and specifically on the interior of the offensive line. Tennessee and then San Francisco both got after those guards in the center. And you could see Green Bay do the same again. They've got some big power rushes in there. Rashawn Gary, Kenny Clark, Dean Lowry. That's a top 10 unit in there. So I suppose the question to that is, does McVay knows what happened. Does he counter that by going back to the play action more under center rather than just Stafford in the spread, Stafford in the shotgun, sorry, and empty as well. So, that puts a lot more pressure. So there's a bit of uncertainty there. I don't really know what to do with that. And then obviously the Packers, as you say, their offensive line, they're probably a third string left tackle here against Von Miller and Aaron Donald. That could be a real mess. And I would suspect the way they try and get around that is run the ball as well. That's what they did in the playoff game last year. The Rams were running their too high light box and Rodgers was, they were just very patient and they just ran the ball a lot. And obviously it's meant to be very cold there. I think 32 degrees last I checked. So possibly the under for me. But yeah, not a game I'm too confident in.